this piece, I want to talk about second charge finances or second charge mortgages. If you've not heard of them, then let me explain. It comes into play usually when you are looking to raise extra finance. So this is secured against your buy-to-let property, of course. And it might be that there could be barriers. Now, usually your first port of trying to obtain this extra finance is through further advances. In other words, you go back to your current buy-to-let mortgage provider. Most of them will offer a further advance, but some do not. So that's the first challenge. Those that do, and you go through the process, it might be that you can't get the amount of borrowing that you need for that next project. So a further advance is not always an option for us as landlords. Now, it might be that you, as another option, you want to remortgage to a new lender. So you're going to move from lender A to lender B. But what if you're tied in with redemption penalties? And some of those penalties can be significant, eye-watering figures. So again, if you might want to avoid paying those redemption penalties, and again, this is where a second charge finance comes into play. It might be that since taking out the mortgage with your current buy-to-let lender, your credit score has deteriorated rapidly. Maybe you've had some bad fortune, maybe you've had some adverse credit, so now you've got a poor credit rating. And if you remortgage the whole debt to a new lender, you're going to get penalized for the full amount of the mortgage. Whereas if you can leave your main mortgage with lender A, and quite often you can, at the end of the deal, just move on to a new deal with a product transfer, and there's no credit check done. So even though you might have a poor credit score, you can still stay with that main lender and get good deals. And that's, again, where the second charge finance becomes really advantageous, because it's a standalone piece of finance. It's with a completely different lender. And so your main mortgage is protected, as I've described a little earlier. So there's lots of advantages of going to a second charge finance provider. In addition to that, there tends to be a lot more flexibility. So if you've got some maybe unusual financial situation, maybe it's about how you're being paid, maybe it is about loan to value that you want a little bit higher. Maybe you need to go a slightly longer term than is normally allowed. Well, second charge lenders are really flexible when it comes to these things. They've got a lot of quirky policies, lending sort of policies out there that might just fit what you need. So second charge finance, really, really useful tool. If for those situations where you can't wait to the end of the penalties, you need to raise some extra finance for whatever reason, further advances are not appropriate. Like I say, maybe the lender doesn't even offer them, then get a second. Now, how do you obtain those? Well, brokers, mortgage brokers, usually have the right approvals to do second charge finance. Not all of them, but so we do at the Mortgage Home. So again, if you're looking to raise finance, you think, crikey, yeah, I've hit a bit of a brick wall. I really could do with that extra 10, 20,000 now, not wait until the penalties end. But I didn't think I had all those options open to me. Then as a broker, we'll look at further advances. We'll look at second charge finance. We'll look at all the different scenarios that are open to you, and we can then advise you about which is the most cost effective. So if you think that is useful for you, if you think you want to understand a little bit more whether you can raise that extra finance, then there will be a link at the end of this page. Just book some time on. It's a free review, and we'll be able to tell you whether we can.